No roses. Well, there's one rose at the moment. We put Dad under a rose bush because he liked his gardening. I guess my lesson is, my story about dementia is, when it comes to looking after your parent, is probably not what to do. So if people can take heed from that, that's great.
Growing up in an environment that's always fearful, it just taints everything.
I grew up in Invercargill. I was in a family of 5, obviously mum and dad, brother and a sister, and I was the youngest.
It was pretty hairy growing up with Dad, and it was scary and unsafe.
I always remember, we'd be at the dinner table having tea because Dad wouldn't have made it for tea, and then we might hear the car turn into the street and driving down, and straight away it was just quiet. But we could tell what kind of mood he was in the way he was driving the car. So he was driving fast and aggressive. I knew he was probably coming in angry.
He had some horrible stuff happen in his life. So, from looking outside in, you have the understanding of how it all came about. He had the intelligence to be a kind, caring father and the knowledge, but he didn't have the resources emotionally or the support to be able to do it. And he became an angry, violent alcoholic.
They separated when I was about 15, and it was a great day because I didn't have to have that fear or that angry person in my space all the time with me. It was like a sense of relief. But at the same time, you still think that you should like your dad, that you should have a relationship with him. But his behaviour generally just carried on where he just was concerned about himself. And so our relationship was just one of cycles of me not being in contact with him, maybe being in some contact with him. In the end, it became just more about the fact that he was there and I was living my life. And I was just getting on with it. He was not the most important person in my life by a long shot. My friends were more important. My other family members were. Dad was living obviously by himself, and he started displaying some weird behaviours.
I didn't click to it that it was dementia because it was all mucked up with just being paranoid about everyone. The thing was, this is what he was like when I was a kid. So I just thought it was, he's going back to normal behaviour. He's being that tosser part of an alcoholic.
Did you ever remember getting in trouble here because you were down here? We weren't meant to be down here because there was a creek, right?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I was always worried about the farmer catching us.
Yeah.
And
he never did though, did he?
Oh, we used to run away.
Oh, yeah.
When I started suspecting that something was happening, it was just getting someone to listen.
Yeah.
And you sort of thinking, oh yeah, not really sort of understanding. It was harder because sort of I was quite alone in it. When you had that phone conversation, that made a difference.
When I knew that something was really wrong was when he called me up and he was incredibly worried and scared about his situation and not being aware of certain parts of his life or how to do things. And I had to say to him on that conversation, it's okay, we'll get it sorted. The thing is, in the background, my sister had been getting it sorted for years and been doing the right thing, but he was so fearful he was starting to mistrust my sister.
Was I resentful having to shoulder that responsibility? Yes, I was. I was the one here, I was the one responsible, and I take that on. My brothers, they supported me as best they could, but they didn't really do the connection stuff with Bob.
I would have probably been that person if I realised what I know now about dementia, that you do have to care for. That person's changed. They're not that scary man of my childhood. They've become this person who's more like a child, someone who's reverted back in their own life to possibly a nice person. He was, when I did go to see my dad and when he had the dementia, he was pleasant. You know, he was just there being Bob.
Before he was in a home, it was just before he went into care, I actually built up that courage. I finally got to that part where I was going to face up to him. And I said to him, you know, growing up with you was really hard and really scary, and it had a big impact on who I am. And he sort of denied it, but he listened. And then he forgot it because he had dementia. So I was too late.
You start to actually think, well, if my dad got dementia, well, maybe I'm at risk of getting dementia as well. Sure. What should I be doing about this?
How worried am I that I have dementia? I'm very worried. Really, really worried. I read a lot of research. I exercise. I try and eat well, all within the back of my mind that, you know, my father had it.
How keen would you be to take a test to find out whether you had it or not?
I don't think so. I don't think I could, because I don't know. That's pretty scary.
Well, here goes nothing. I've decided to get a scan. What's the worst that could happen?
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.